shade and color of our skin. Some are petrified, of course, by the texture and the gloss, the kinkiness of all, yeah. All the ethnic clothes we wear, the respect you see, the African in me.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Yo, Sarah!
All righty, so good morning to everyone. We are back with you. And we have Mr. Kingsley DeFreitas to provide us with his commentary for this morning. So, Kingsley, good morning to you.
Yeah, morning, Samuel, and morning to my other friend. It's good to know that you guys are here. Despite it's a bit late, so it provided me an avenue to call this morning. But before I get into my commentary, I need to be educated on something. I think that you may have the answer because you're the recent school girl. You can remember an organization called Caribbean Community. You remember that?
CARICOM, yes, Kingsley. I like how you say I was a recent school girl. I really do like hearing that this morning.
And do you remember an organization called Caribbean Single Market and Economy?
Yes, I do.
Okay. But the reason I raised them, I want to know if you think that they were talk shop. Former Prime Minister Sir James was very interested in CARICOM and community, right? But he didn't do as well as some potential prime ministers doing with other organizations. And we are currently having a meeting at the Organization of Eastern Caribbean State. Dr. Gonsalves is now the new chairman who will replace the prime minister from St. Lucia. And I get the impression, listening to some of the commentary by the forces who participate in that, they expect nothing but the best from Dr. Gonsalves. And he has the experience to do what they expect him to do. But, you know, it's fascinating because CARICOM community was a big thing. People thought that we would have get answers from that. They spoke about the importance of the Caribbean single market and economy. Now we're hearing about Eastern Caribbean Organization State. And we're hoping that this organization will go beyond just being a talk shop. Because I get the impression that the other organization I mentioned was just talk shop. And I'm hoping that, you know, what's interesting, the opposition leader, former Prime Minister, Mr. Shasta here in St. Lucia, spoke, and he spoke well. I tell some people will want to associate the leader of the opposition, Louis Friday, with the comments made by Mr. Shasta here. And I see something that they're going to have a press briefing alongside Mr. Shasta here because he's supporting the issue of the 7 passport, as Ralph Gonsalves called it, and they say this is called CBI. I mean, it's interesting to see what's taking place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where heads of state, opposition leaders, and other delegates of the organization coming together in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to speak about the importance of the organization. But we get the impression, yes, that it's all about talking, and no big impression come to make for the people. But I'm hoping that Dr. Gonsalves, well, I don't know how long the chairmanship of this organization will last, but will be taking part because he what happened. Let's say that Dr. Gonsalves is not the prime minister after the next election. Dr. Friday assumed the office of prime minister. How important will be Dr. Gonsalves' presentation as former prime minister and leader of this organization? Would we see that interest? Dr. Gonsalves will be devastated if he loses. Because there's something, when you deal with electorate and they're going to the polls, you might think you have it covered, but when they don't vote is when you're going to find out whether your party is in or out. And let me tell you something. Let's face it, most Vincentians already make up their minds how they're going to vote in the next election. Some say it's 6 in a row, some say it's too long in a that, and too long in a that seems to be catching on. people are saying it's time for change. Not because Dr. Gonsalves is not doing a really good job, but it's just a change for change purposes. People like stepping in and they go off for Hillary and Anita and them. But there is evidence show, Miss Speaker, that change do bring development. And there are some conflicting views between the parties, like from Candyman, C.M. Marshall, the resource officer, and the issue of the CBI program. The NDP is bent on fulfilling that policy if and when they become the next government. That they're going to have simplified and say, you know, I sell a passport, and it could believe that attitude by saying, you know, I sell a passport resonates with people in the countryside, so they jump in on board, and they will say, well, they have to Ralph Gonsalves without allowing it soon as the highest officer in the land. And I am just hoping that people pay attention to what taking place in Sydney. So the ceremony is on today at the Standard Resort Hotel. And we will get small bites of what is said and how they going to move forward. But in the back of the intention mind, they have to ask themselves, is Gonsalves prepared to lead this organization if and when the next election is called? Some will say, well, if he loses, he can't be a part of it, but he might be a part of the opposition. And then I listened to the opposition who spoke on the issue yesterday. All of them seem to be singing from the same song sheet. And then you hear the Prime Minister saying that opposition has a role to play in government. In St. Vincent and Grenadines, if you use this, Dr. Friday and the NDP can have a program on NBC Radio. Who's the Minister of Information? Okay, I'll fact that. NBC and Dianna have to get permission from the authority to give NDP airtime and 75 million. And if I were going to have an Irish Prime Minister, me ain't giving my competitor no permission to be on my state radio. Oh, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow right there.
All right, Kingsley, have a good one today. Kingsley, you talk a whole heap of things you want this morning. You had a lot to say.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Have a good one today.
All right.
All right, so that was our commentary there from Kingsley. All right, so we have somebody calling. Hi, caller. Good morning. Hi, good morning.
Hello, President. Good morning. How are you guys? How are you ladies this morning?
We're fine. And what about you?
I'm doing pretty good. I was trying to see if I could get to, well, I hope he might be listening there, Kingsley. I was just last night when Candyman come on, I listen to the program every night. Anybody come on the program, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Candyman come on. I mean, he was talking some good things. Nobody against that way. You know, it was very nice, interesting. But at the same time, if a lot of people, school children, leave school and go to college and all that kind of going on there, and when they come back from college, they wanted a job, and they will hire them because they don't have experience. How can them get experience if you never put them in a job? So that's the question that we want to ask Candyman yesterday, but I keep calling, and then he kept Candyman so long until the end of it that nobody could even ask Candyman no question. But that was my question, because my son went to university, and before he finished college home and then he go to university, he trying to get a job, and he couldn't get a job. So it's like, he was so frustrated, and then he went to university. He came back home trying to look for a job and still can't get a job. Every time he applied for a job, all of them tell him he don't have experience. Come on. That's making young people them more frustrated, because they have to pay back the loan and they can't get a job to pay back the loan. And then I got no experience. You have to get a job in order to get experience.
Okay, so let me just respond to that part that you're saying. So yes, I know the usual challenge when persons, especially when you're very young, or especially when you've left college and went directly into university and without any working experience there, it's generally a challenge for some of those persons to find jobs, right? But there are two programs that the government actually has in place that can help with that transition or to help persons to gain experience. So they have the SET program and they have the on-site program. So those are two things that they have in place. So if persons sign up for these programs, they can be placed in particular areas or places of work. And in some cases, they are actually kept on, depending on if the employer can keep them on. So those are two things to note.
Yeah, well, I heard about that too. I listen, but at the same time, that my son was home for over 5 years.
All right, so now I need to ask you something. All right, but I need to now I'm hearing you say that you saying that he was home for 5 years. But was it a case where he was looking for something very specific in the field that he studied and he was not accepting anything else until he got that? Was that the situation?
No, because he tried to even get teaching job and he couldn't even get a teaching job because they say he didn't have experience. He couldn't even get a teaching job.
Okay, but I don't know about the specifics of your son's situation, but I do know that there are some persons who, when they come back from studying, they want a particular kind of job for a particular amount of money, and they say they're not accepting anything else. And for me, I don't agree with that. I believe in taking something, even if it's temporary, until you can get what you want. So again, I don't know what happened in your son's case, but
he wasn't in that situation. His situation, he just wanted a job and he can't get a job.
Okay.
And why going to university and doing all of this and that to be in St. Vincent and still can't get a job? That was very, very frustrating to young people. Give them something to do until they could get what they want.
Okay. All right. Well, I hear you. All right. Thanks for calling.
Okay. All right. You know who talking as usual. Your good friend, Pompey.
All right, Pompey.
All right.
Have a good one.
Nice.
All right. All right. So we have another caller. Hi, Joshua. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning. Just if this is going to be of any help to your caller who's just gone off, what do you think is needed? I'm not too sure if it's done in St. Vincent. In the schools, there should be, I think they call them advisory teachers, where they would groom students into areas where they could study. So when they return to Bermuda, they could find a job. For example, if my son wants to be a rocket scientist, I mean, that's a harebrained idea, because what purposes are going to be in Bermuda? He would never, ever find employment in that area. So let us encourage our students to study in areas where there is a need. I don't know his situation. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, I felt kind of, I'm in a pensive mood right now. Yesterday, I left home early in the morning, and as I was walking along, I was complaining because my favorite radio station kept popping off and off and off, and I was complaining, whining about it. I came across a car parked in a parking lot. There was a lady asleep there with a baby and everything but the kitchen sink in the car. And I had to ask the Lord to forgive me for whining, because I'm complaining about not hearing, what's your radio station name again? WEFM. I was complaining about not hearing WEFM. I was complaining about not hearing WEFM, and here was a woman who practically lives in her car with her baby. So I have to be thankful for small blessings. And even in St. Vincent, we complain a lot. I ate a mango last night. My wife bought 3 for $3 each, which is a special deal. In St. Vincent, those mangoes are lying around on the street knocking dog. A dog won't even eat them. So you come to your blessings there. And Mrs. Richardson is listening to you, by the way. You could force her to answer a quick question if you want to. I do not know if she would respond.
Good morning, Yolanda. All right. have a very patient day this morning with Joshua. All right, Joshua.
You'll answer something. You'll answer something. She says she knows say nothing.
Okay. All right.
Hey, look, love you guys, man. Yes, I'm going out today again. Another wonderful day. She just told me I'm gone, and when she says she gone, she means she gone.
Okay. All right. Have a good
If I
one.
don't come, I got it. Yes, you take care.
All right.
Bye.
You as well.
Yep.
All right. All right. So, just to know, all right. So we didn't get to fully touch on the two things. Well, the things that Kingsley raised, but Kingsley, and just like you, I sort of share the sentiments of. I keep hearing the talk about CARICOM, etc. for years. Ever since I know myself, I've been hearing these conversations. And it's interesting because I went on Eyewitness page yesterday and I saw certain headlines and I kind of just rolled my eye, right? Because I just feel like it's the same narrative that's being pushed year after year. It's all that we're hearing. And, you know, as Dianna sometimes says, a holy for talk and not much action, all right? So that's just there to respond directly to what Kingsley said. At another time, I would take up that thing that the guy spoke about with his son not finding opportunities, because to me is 5 years is just a little bit long and a little bit interesting, but we would do that another time. Anything final, Dianna?
Well, I was agreeing with Kingsley when he spoke about the effectiveness of some of these organizations. And just like you, after going through them for years, I just came to the conclusion that a lot of things, not necessarily these ones, but a lot of organizations are just a front for I don't know what else, because I don't believe that you could set up things and have such intelligent people and you're going year after year after year after year and the problems still exist. To me, we can do much better. We're just not doing it.
Yeah. All right. And with that, we are heading on out at this time. Just to know that in a few minutes' time, we'll be conducting an interview with Mr. Wetty Beats. Thing go nice again, all right? Time here in SVG, it is 8:02, and our time check came to you with the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home.